Well, how do there, chums? 'Tis I, Captain of the Steves, and today, chums, I'm inside No Man's Sky, and there is another expedition, Redux. This one is Aquarius, which is a pretty much predominantly a fishing-based expedition, so I'm probably going to take some baits with me and things like that. So I'm actually in creative mode right now, I believe. Let me just double check. No, I'm actually in normal. If I just chuck that into creative mode, just for a moment, I can then create as much bait as I like, and also on my multi-tool, hopefully on my multi-tool, have I got the fishing rod? I do. So what I can do is I can store that, put that into my inventory, and take that with me. And inside of my multi-tool, I can always craft another one of those angler's rods. There we go. And because it's in creative mode, even if I haven't got the parts, I can put it back in again. So there we are. So I can take a rod with me, and also just want to take a load of bait with me too. So if I just scroll on down here to some blank spaces, I can craft whatever I want. So I want to take some warp fuel with me. Anyway, I'll show you what I'm going to take with me once I get into the actual game. So yeah, something else I'm going to be making is a load of lures. The bionic lure is about the best one anyway, but I'll probably take some pulse ones as well, just for, oh, and nighttime ones actually. Tell her that, yeah, we'll take a load of night ones as well. Just make about 500 of each, I think. I'll do it. Lovely jobs, and I'm just going to make a load of lure. A load of baits, I should say. And in my starship, I'm just going to take the idiom drive. So where's the idiom drive? Idiom drive, where are you? There it is. Package that and take that with me as well. Lovely jubbly. And then back into the old starship. Create another one idiom drive. So I tend to make my guides for new players. A lot of people say to me, Captain Steve, why don't you just take a load of tainted metal with you and clone your ship? Well, not everybody's got decent ships at this stage. Some people have just picked this game up. So I'm trying to make it as new startery as possible. Anyway, I think I've got enough for this one. There's nothing overly difficult inside of this actual expedition. Like I say, and with this expedition, just take your time. Because it is a little bit random numbers game anyway. Oh, I've got to take all this out yet. Alright, just bear with me 1 second. Let me just clear all this out. Okay, now I can select the equipment that I want to take with me. And I'm just going to fill this out and I'll reconvene and show you what I'm choosing to take. Well, I have to say, there's quite a lot of people hitting up this expedition terminal. There's a lot of people that want to play Aquarius by the looks of things, which is a good thing. Heck yeah. Okay, chums, so I've got a load of bits and bobs. The main things that I've got is I've got some warp drive, I've got my idiom drive, and I've also got the fishing rod. That's pretty much it, and I've got some fishing lures and baits and bits and bobs like that. A couple of things that might give me a couple of technology modules as well, and that's about it really. I've got a load of personal refiners so I can do a bit of duplication, so I might duplicate maybe the multi-tool or the exosuit once I get inside a game. But anyway, let's hit start expedition and accept a mondo. Let's do this, I guess. Well, chums, this expedition isn't all that difficult at all. I mean, when I say it's not that difficult at all, something that is a little bit freaking difficult is to get all your carbon and all your needs on this planet that you start on, because it's one of these exotic planets, and it's hardly got any carbon on it whatsoever. The carbon that you will find looks like these sort of like organic structures over here. And what I would suggest you do is, rather than blast it with your multi-tool, punch it. Do melee attacks, and then you're going to get your carbon that way. And it's the same for your ferrite dust. You're just going to be punching stuff. I wouldn't use your mining laser because you're going to have to use carbon to refuel your mining laser. It's a pretty false economy on this planet, and it's a git finding everything you need on this planet to take on off. But once you have got enough and you have managed to repair your ship and you do take off, something that is nice is they give you a pre-packaged warp drive, which means you can just installocate it, which is awesome, rather than have to go and buy circuit boards and craft one. So there's that. That's a bonus. They also give you some warp fuel so you can actually warp jump. They also give you one repair kit so you can actually repair your ship that little bit quicker if you want to. But yeah, I would suggest though getting yourself some copper before you leave the planet so you can spin it into chromatic metal so you can build base computers. You might want to build base computers at different fission type planets as you go. So anyway, that's pretty easy. That's pretty straightforward and simple. Reaching your first destination point, easy peasy as well. Now, something that's a bit odd, if you did what I did and took a pre-packaged rod and installed it thinking you're clever, no, because you have to uninstall it to then reinstall it to pop that badge. So that just caused me a massive headache. If I could choose differently and take different things with me, I would probably take the trade rocket. The trade rocket, so you can put your fish in it and launch them and get paid out as you're actually going. You're going to run out of inventory space quite quick if you can take loads of exosuit expansion sockets with you, like 70 of them or something. Get yourself maxed out so you can carry a lot of fish, because you're going to have to sell a load of fish to pop the last badge, which we'll get to in the last phase. But yeah, once you've actually created your fishing rig, then you're going to be wading into water to catch your first free fish, and it's any free fish. As long as you've got some bait on the line, you're going to be bringing in fish. If you haven't got bait on your line, you're going to be bringing in some coral, messages in a bottle, that sort of stuff, which there is a badge for that anyway, so be sure to do that. Miss out on a catch something that is not a fish. That's what I was just saying. Take your bait off the line. Now, I can't really show you putting bait on and off the line because I haven't got my fishing rod attachment at this. Oh, yes, I have. It's just that icon there. So you'd click that icon, choose the bait that you want to put on your line. Hokey pokey. So that's all of phase 1 pretty much laid out there for you people. So phase 2, get yourself to the second fishing location, catch yourself the message from the angler. Now, what I would say is these messages in a bottle, they're quite random. Okay, so it can take you quite a lot of casts to actually get this thing. But if you take your bait off the line, you're going to get it a heck of a lot quicker. It's dredging. When you have no bait, you're dredging. And that's exactly what you need to do to get these messages from the bottle. And you're going to have to do this at every rendezvous. And the time difference between getting it is, well, it's taken me as maximum of 10 minutes and as little as like 40 seconds. I got it on my second cast at one stage, which was great. Okay, use bait while fishing. So there's a lot of things that you can use as bait. You can even put previous fish on your line and recast them out. In fact, when you get to the stage where you've got to catch colossal fish, if you put large fish on your line, there's a good chance you're going to get that colossal fish. But we'll get to that in a moment. You can fish by putting the catches back on your line and recasting them out. However, if you did what I did and put yourself in creative mode and created a load of baits before you come here, the actual pulse one is awesome. The pulse lure, very good for catching rarer fish. Land an uncommon fish, using the pulse lure is going to help you with that immensely, because it's not just common, it's anything that's common and above. So, you know, the more sort of like extreme fish, the purples and the exotic ones, which are the gold and yellows. But an uncommon fish is usually, I think it's the blue one. Green are common, blue are uncommon, purple are rare, and then the gold ones are like the super rares or whatever. Coolio. Freedom of the sea. Release 2 fish back into the water. Yeah, I released more than 2 to get a few nanites, but you do have to sell a load of fish. Keep anything that's purple and golden for the last phase, because you've got to get like 300,000 units from selling fish. Keep all your rare and super rare fish and sell those towards the end would be my advice. Okay, catch 1 fish that's only active during the day. That's fairly easy. I actually popped this while I was trying to catch my free fish. It was one of the first badges I accidentally popped because I was fishing in the daytime and I just so happened to catch one because I was using one of the pulse lures. Cool. Deploy an exoskiff. So getting the actual resources for the exoskiff was a little bit skiffy. Yeah, so you've got to swim on down. You've got to get yourself some of those chitos phosphate things off of one of those barnacle things that blast into the air. Mine was underneath the ground, so I had to dig down to it. And I was worried that I might go and blast it out of existence. But it's not difficult to create your exoskiff. Now, it does mention about landing your ship in deeper water. and using the aquajets. Well, if you haven't got those installed, you can just deploy your exoskiff wherever you want above you in the water and just climb aboard it. And you can even build your the cooking thing, the oh god, what's it bloody called? The nutrient processor. Create the nutrient processor and you can actually put it on your skiff. I mean, as there's waves going, it's going to move around, it might fall into the ocean, but you can actually cook your fish there. There is actually a badge to cook a fish after you've caught it. Catch 2 uncommon irradiated fish. This was a git because there is no gamma radioactive planets inside of phase 2. And I don't even think there's one inside of phase 3. I don't think you actually get to the irradiated planet until you get to phase 4. And it is in one of the rendezvous systems, but it's in this latter area. So yeah, it's a bit of a bind that. You're not going to get your irradiated fish for some time. So I ignored this one and I just continued on, hoping that it would be on the expedition path, and it is, but it's at a later time. Okay, reaching the 3rd destination, easy peasy. You shouldn't have no problems with that now. Landing a message from the angular. I've already told you my previous tips for that. Just don't have any bait on your line. Cast out a few times. It's called dredging. You're going to get it. Reach an ocean depth of 40 U's. Well, you can just dive into any old water. Get your terrain manipulator, dig a hole, carry on digging, hit the 40 U's, boom, got your badge. Lovely jubbly. Establish an underwater base. Easy peasy. You should have the base computer plans. Just build a base underwater, put down a few base parts that it tells you to do. If you haven't got the actual resources to put down those base computer parts, you can go into wire mode by pressing triangle to go into the wire mode. Then you press the place button, which is R2 on PlayStation, and the wire mode at the same time, triangle, and you can actually glitch those items in for free without having any of the resources to do it. And that helps immensely for building out your base and getting that done. That's if you don't mind a little bit of corner cutting. Catch 6 fish with an automated trap. Alright, well, I put down all these automated traps by glitching them in by using that wire press mode. And then it came up with something rather curious. It came up with this catch phase timer. And it was like 40 minutes or something mental. So at this stage, after I built those traps, that's where I called it a day for playing this expedition. That's where I sort of froze off for a day. And then I came back the next day, that had passed, and then I collected all my fish. So there we go. That's kind of where I took a little bit of a trek out, had my dinner, had something to eat, done other things, and came back to the game. The inky depths. Cast your line into deep water. So if you've already managed to dig yourself down to the 40 U's, you can just cast your line straight into that hole that you've cast into. Just maybe go a little bit deeper than the 40. Go as deep as you can, then cast into it, and you're going to get that pop up. Now what you could do is, after you've dug that massive great big hole, you could build your base above that massive great big hole and then just cast down into the hole and catch some pretty large or colossal fish from inside of that big hole. Now there is a later badge to catch 2 large colossal fish. You could probably do it at this stage if you've dug your hole right, if you've built your base right, and everything's gone honky-dory and lovely and grand. Coolio. This is catch 3 uncommon fish from an ice world. Now, I do believe that there is an ice planet inside of this system. If there's not, it's in the next phase. But I didn't have much problem finding an ice-cold planet. It's in one of the rendezvous areas. And if I can find some footage, I'll put it here and show you which planet that actually was. I think I may have had to go on to phase 4 to get it. But anyway. Okay, reach the 4th angling destination. Easy peasy, should be able to do that one by now. Landing message from the angler. Again, take your bait off the line, boom. Very repetitive at this stage. Land 3 uncommon high temperature fish. This one was the worst out of everything. Out of all of the badges to pop, this was the worst one. Mainly because you've got to find a hot planet. And there's not one in any of these phases. None of these phases had a phosphorus hot planet. Now there is in phase 5 a bountiful lush planet that gave me a hot fish, but it's some other fish. But you need to find a hot world. Now to find a hot world, I went into my catalogue, went into the materials, went into plants and selected solarium. Once you've done that, it tells you down at the bottom, go to the galactic map, and it's going to pinpoint you where a solarium planet is. It does, but what it doesn't do is give you a solarium planet that's always got water. So you have to jump to a system that's got solarium, hope that it's got water, and then, put it out there. Now, I have actually found a planet. It took me probably about 7 warp jumps to find it using that method. But I found one. I will put the actual portal coordinates on the screen for you and what the planet was called and what system it was in, etc, etc. The only thing is you would need all the portal glyphs to get there. You do not get rewarded the portal glyphs inside of this expedition. So that would be a complete nightmare to try and get yourself there. All I can say is try and find it by doing what I just mentioned. Hitting up the catalogue, selecting solarium, and hopefully you're going to find a planet with water. There's other ways that you could find a planet with water that's also solarium a bit quicker. If you have a freighter and warping systems, I actually unlocked a freighter at this stage. If you had enough salvaged frigate data, you could actually unlock the scanner room. And the scanner room lets you scan every planet in a system. So you could just do your warp jumps, call in your freighter, fly in, scan it, without having to scan all the different planets. Or if you actually have warp drives inside the freighter, warp with your freighter, scan from the actual freighter bridge and, from your base inside the freighter and from the scanner room, and hopefully find your planet that way. Another way that you could go about trying to find this is going to the portal terminus in space stations at this stage, because a lot of people will be looking for this hot water planet, and look at all the bases that are there. You might have to click into them because not everybody's naming their bases, and look for a hot planet base, because hopefully they've already found it. I tried that method. Nobody at this point in time had a base. I've uploaded my own base now. You might see my base there, but with the rate that everybody's uploading bases, it's probably going to knock that out. And a lot of people are building bases because you need bases really at some of these fishing locations. Catch 2 nocturnal fish. Okay, so you can just fly to any planet with water and fly to the dark side of that planet, land by a pond or a lake or whatever, because you've only got to catch 2 nocturnal fish. And there's nocturnal fish at all sizes on all biomes. It shouldn't take you too long to find a nocturnal fish or 2. In fact, I think I popped this one ambiently anyway while fishing, trying to catch other fish. Pearls of Wisdom. Harvest 7 living pearls. Easy peasy, that one. Now, you can blast the pearls to make them open, but if you swim right next to them, it should give you the option just to harvest them anyway without blasting them first, and then you don't have the risk of getting bitten by them and all that sort of shenanigans. So yeah, just get close and harvest them. Easy peasy. Land 2 enormous fish. Okay, so enormous fish have got more chance to spawn in the deeper of oceans. Anything that's 55 views deep and deeper, you're going to be catching large fish and enormous fish as the most common fish that you're going to catch. What I would say is if you put a large fish on your line as bait, it increases the chance of catching an enormous or colossal fish. So you could do that. If you have got a load of the pulse lures, just fishing at, say, 60 U's deep, the main fish that you're going to catch is like large and the colossal fish, and there's a high chance you might even catch some of the exotic ones, the golden-backed ones, which are great for selling later. So I would suggest doing that. But if you have got some large fish and you don't mind casting them in, and they're not super rare or rare, and they're not going to net you a load of units, so they're common or uncommon, cast those in. And try to catch yourself something enormous that way. Okay, landing 50 fish. Hopefully by now you've landed 50 fish, and that's probably already popped anyway. What doesn't count is the automatic traps. Pulling fish out of the automatic traps does not count towards this. Okie doke. Right, phase 5. Okay, here we go then. Reach the final angling destination. Hopefully you're going to be okay with that. It's pretty much straightforward at this stage. Same with this. Just take your bait off the line, cast it out, boom, Bob's your uncle. Hopefully you're going to get that. Okay, what the fudge was this one here? Okay, I can't remember what that one was, so I'm going to have to look through my my footage. Sadly, I completed the expedition and ended the expedition without coming in here to look at this. Okay, catch a fish is only active during a storm. Well, storms happen quite frequently on a lot of these planets. I had already done this one ambulantly without even trying. But if you are looking for a planet that has storms, you're looking for activated inside of the actual write-up. So it'd say activated copper, activated iridium. Those planets are going to have more storms. Just make sure it's got water. Go there and hopefully catch a fish during the storm. Easily peasily. This one here, record an underwater creature at 75 kgs. That's not catch a fish at 75 kgs. You have to scan something at 75 kgs. Now, on the final rendezvous planet, where you've gone here to this visiting destination, in the waters of that planet is a crab-type mantis creature. And I scanned that, and that came up as over the 75 kgs. I mean, it's a crustacean. It's going to weigh more than most fish. And it was about the size of a person, which was freaking mental. Anyway, I'll put some footage up of what that creature looks like and the planet I found it on and all that sort of stuff. So that one could be difficult, but it's in the final phase. It's in this phase. And I found it relatively quickly. Okay, catch the legendary fish. So that's to catch the giant sort of legendary fish, which, yeah, so that one I actually caught on the planet, on the actual planet that I found all the other stuff on, you know, the giant crab and all that sort of stuff. I found it there. I've got footage of that catch. I put that up so you can see that actually happening in real time. So I caught that. Done, dilly, and done. And then sell all your fish worth 3,000 in units. Right, I just need to find out what this is. Bear with me one moment. Okay, chums, so that one there is called Scales of Fire. And Scales of Fire is like this super exotic sort of weird octopus creature. And I caught that, so yeah, I put that video footage up there. And I think it pops both of these at the same time, the legendary catch and that. It kind of does the two, I think, because, yeah, I just sort of done this one ambiently. So anyway, that's pretty much everything, and I would sell some of your most exotic of catches to get the 3,000. I'll show you which fish I sold. I've got some footage of that happening. And that's pretty much it. Just make sure you go into the final phase and make sure you hit up the badge that's here, just here, to make sure you've claimed everything. Okay, if you don't hit that badge, it's not going to ask you if you want to accept or end your expedition. Make sure you hit that badge. Okay, it's easily missed. Okay, so that's everything I've got for you on this. There you go, peeps. So there we go, people. Hit a like, hit a subscribe, and all that sort of shenanigans. Hit that notification bell, because there is still one more Redux to go, the Cursed, which starts later this month. I'll put the roadmap just there so you can see when it's going to be hit on up. But yeah, if you hit that bell, you're not going to miss that one. So if you liked how I staged this, if it's helped you out, hopefully the next one will too. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Salute to Mondo. Goodbye, goodbye, and goodbye again.